The University of Hawaii at Manoa recently released a study that showed fecal bacteria can live longer in sand than in water. But the study placed wastewater on sand to test this. I decided to take a look at our local sand to find out what's in it and how likely it is to leave you sick after a day at the beach. Fun isn't the only thing mom Nicole Talley thinks her son will experience while playing in the sand at Myrtle Beach.
I think about the different things that could be in there. Cigarette butts, different, people's feet. Yeah, bacteria, definitely.
Just as people can ingest bacteria when they're swimming, they can also come into contact with it while staying dry.
Compared to the water column, your number of bacteria will be often 1,000 times greater in sedimentary habitats.
Coastal Carolina University marine biology professor Eric Keffler says the sand is an ideal home for bacteria because there's plenty of organic matter for the bacteria to snack on, plus the bacteria is mostly hidden from the sanitizing sunlight.
In a sandy habitat, ultraviolet energy probably penetrates only a couple of millimeters beneath the surface.
Keffler says fecal bacteria such as E. coli or Enterococcus can live in the sand.
In many respects, those are conditions that are a little bit more like what they would experience when they are found inside of their host.
So what's in our Grand Strand sand? I decided to do some testing of my own, so I went to a popular area of Myrtle Beach south of the 2nd Avenue Pier. I dug a hole 6 inches deep, a foot away from the high tide line. Then I filled 3 jars with sand from inside that hole. I also tested the sand in Briarcliff Acres, which had a no swimming advisory for high levels of bacteria in the water last month. I sent the samples off to a lab. That lab found a similar amount of fecal coliform in both the Myrtle Beach and Briarcliff Acres sand samples, and that amount was 111 times the minimum detectable amount. Fecal coliform is an indicator bacteria. It isn't likely to get you sick, but it shows the possibility of E. coli or Enterococcus in the sand in our beaches. Will all of this extra bacteria actually get you sick?
The vast majority of bacteria in these sedimentary habitats are the naturally occurring bacteria that aren't typically pathogenic to humans, although there are a couple of exceptions.
2 samples of sand are by no means a complete study of 60 miles of Grand Strand beaches, and even a professor who studies bacteria doesn't worry about it when he heads to the beach.
Unless there are warnings out from the state, I usually don't give it too much thought.
The South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control doesn't monitor sand bacteria, though, only water bacteria levels. And when there is a no swimming advisory, activities on the sand are still deemed safe.
It has taken a lot of effort to develop a good sampling strategy and regulatory framework for the water. That has taken decades, and it is still, to some extent, a work in progress. So I would anticipate the same thing for trying to develop regulatory tools for beach sand.
Susan Liebes says regulations are developed when public health is at risk, though. One Environmental Protection Agency study found people who reported digging in the sand, and especially being buried in the sand, were more likely to report stomach upset within 2 weeks of being at the beach. Liebes says there are certain steps Grand Strand municipalities have taken that should help bacteria in both sand and water. For one, the wastewater goes into the intercoastal waterway, not the ocean. And those rake marks you see on the beach serve a purpose.
Raking of sand should expose bacteria to sunlight and potentially seawater with the next tide that are known to cause the death or the deactivation of bacteria.
Nicole Talley says she'll take her own precautions when she's on the beach with her little ones.
Just make sure they keep it out of their mouth, have a large area to keep them on, and wash them off after.
But bacteria won't stop them from enjoying the beach, sand and all. If you're interested in learning more about the level of bacteria in the water where you swim, DHEC now has an interactive map online. You can see here in the yellow areas in Myrtle Beach and Surfside Beach, swimming is actually not advised even when there isn't an actual warning. The water quality is considered good in the green areas, which are scattered throughout the Grand Strand, but more concentrated in North Myrtle Beach and Pawleys Island. You can also look up the test results for individual beaches by just clicking on those circles. We'll have the link to this on our website, WMBFnews.com. Reporting in the studio, Amy Lipman, WMBF News.